You're going to be starting standing if you can. You can do the seated, not sitted. And let me just get you all onto full screen. And if you know that you only need to exercise and you want to do a small section, you could set a timer so you do 10 minutes of the exercise and you watch the rest. Or if you feel that you can sort of dip in and out as you go along, you're sort of choosing your style of pacing, really. Yeah. So you can be facing your chair, so you're like this, especially if your balance is wobbly, or you can have your chair to the side. So decide which you need. I'm going for the chair to the side. We are going to end up all going with the chair to the side at some point. And let me just get that switched on. So we're going to start with heel raising. So just raising one side to the other. Now, if you're not into your heel raising, or if you're just getting a little bit of rocking, you go for a little rock. We're trying to get this part of our body fairly stillish and just getting it into the feet. We can also lift the feet a little if the heel raise is not really working for you. That's it. And just warming through your feet, your ankles, your lower legs. You might start doing a little swap over, either in air or picking up and lifting off. That's it. And then letting the arms swing a little more. Your body might turn a little bit to the side, that's okay. Lovely. And you can make it a bit bigger. Might be you're just making your heel raises a bit higher or lifting your legs a little more, whichever you're doing. We're just getting everything moving a little bit. That's it. Growing tall as you're doing this. Definitely breathe in. And then coming down to your feet being a little wider, hands behind your back so they're on your sacrum, bony bit of your bottom. And we're going to hip hinge backwards and forwards. It does not need to be very far. We're just warming up. But your back stays straight and you might lean back a little bit. That's it. And then coming to upright, giving your shoulders a roll one way, a roll the other, and letting your body just move a little, rotate a little at the waist, gentle rotation. That's it. And then you might go for double shoulder rolls if that's feeling okay. But if you're comfortable on one side rather than the other, you might just go for the singles and keep it like that. Then you can pay more attention to each side. And mixing it up a little, maybe a few forwards, some on one side and then the other. And then we're going to come up tall, bringing the legs in a little. So you're just classic hip width apart, looking down, seeing a paperback book between your feet, feet are forwards. We're going to go for some side bends with a salute, if that's comfortable for your shoulders, otherwise here. Now, what we've really got to watch for this, especially if you do have osteoporosis, is that you don't want to bend over and sort of squash and crunch yourself down. So trying to think about, instead of how far down do you go, think about, can you get your elbow towards the ceiling in that direction, rather than that sort of squashing and crushing down the side. Or it might be your shoulders going towards the ceiling. That's it. Last one this side. And then we're going to swap round to the other side. So you might be with your hand on your chest, concentrating on your shoulder going up. It might be you reaching, where am I going? No, it's saluting, that's the one. And keeping that contact between your head and your neck. Keeps your neck in line with your body. It's not overarching. That's it. And then coming back towards the center. Now, I think we'll have the chair just to the side. You can, if you know your balance is wobbly, it can stay in front and you can swap hands as you're going. But I just want you to walk on the spot. If you're sitting, you're walking on the spot too. Could be heel raise style. We just want to warm everything up a little bit. So just getting a little bit warmer. You might pump your arms a bit more if you want to bring the pulse up a little bit more. We're on that road to nowhere. And then I want you to start tapping your foot out to the side. That's it. Doesn't need to be especially fast, and you can be doing it with that support there if you need it. We're trying to be as upright as we can. Oh, I like this bit of maracas going at the same time. Yeah, the maracas can be going. So we're getting a bit of warming up, we're getting the leg going into a different place. It's not just forwards and backwards, doing these little steps out. Breath's just going up a little bit. And then we're going into some stamps, heel drops, some impacts. So think, what have you been doing the last few weeks? What do you like doing? It might be the heel drops, you might be doing that one. It might be that you stamp down. Remember, that's one when you do each foot. I'm not stamping very hard, just, for the person below me, just working away. It might be that you've been doing those little jumps. Oh, they're thumpy through the floor. So it might be you've been doing those. A mix is the best, whatever your mix is. So it might even be like hops on one leg and then hops on the other leg. You've got to pick your best, your favourite ones there. I'm seeing all the variety. I'm not counting, we're going for about 15, but I'm trusting that you're doing these throughout your week. So making this next one your last one. And now standing with the chair to your side. The leg that's next to your chair is going to be the leg that sort of is a supporting leg and is staying still. And we're going to strike the heel forwards and then back. So you can have your hand on the side, on the chair. I want you to keep your gaze ahead. So you're looking ahead, not at your feet. That's it. And we're going for about 8 of these. So we're probably nearly there. I think my counting ability seems to have just disappeared. I reckon one more and we're on about 8. And then I want this leg to be at the back and this leg forwards, and I want you to sit back to the leg that's closest to the chair. Yes. So it might be you're holding on, or it might be the arms are just in this sort of runner position. And then you're going to push up as if you're coming forwards, and then sit back, send that bum straight back. Perfect. Up and back. Now this front foot might come up, it might be on the ground. I'm not too bothered really, I'm thinking more about your bum. And we're going for 8 of these. This is 4. And it might be it's smaller, looks like this. It might be you go super low. It just depends where you are today on this one. I think we've got 2 more. And then we're going to push forwards, come back to this leg that's at the side. And now we're going to balance on this leg. And I'm just going to get my clock ready, okay? So I don't mind where this goes. It could be up here, could be here or here. But take yourself to that position from now. So I can get, I'm just going to wait a moment. I'm just going to check We're all there? Yeah. Lovely. Right, now you're balancing. Now I'd like you to count from 4 in threes in your head. So just keep adding 3, counting in threes, starting at 4. Lovely. It might be that you can let go of that hand and it's not holding onto the chair. That's it, still counting in threes. Lovely, keeping yourself as tall as you can. Still counting in threes. That's it, keeping that weight as centered as you can. And still counting in threes. And coming down. Oh, well done. I see the difference of that across the 3 sessions. Did you want to ask something, Kate?
I have no idea what you mean, counting in threes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I was just stood there going, I don't know what she means, I'm just going to copy. Okay, fine.
So it's just to give your brain something to do. So what your brain was doing was thinking, what is she talking about? What's she talking about? What is she talking about? But it was just so you could do something with your brain. So it's just literally, you know, when you count in threes, like 3, 6, 9, 12.
Yeah, but I thought you said start at 4, which literally confused me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Oh, right, I don't do maths. Carry on.
I succeeded. Your brain was somewhere else, but you were still balancing. So it's you know, it's really mixing things up with your body. Right now.
Sorry, really thick.
No, it's perfect. You asked all the right questions. Now move to the other side of your chair. We're going to repeat the whole thing on the other side. So this time, this leg next to the chair, that's the one that's going to stay still. We're going to start striking forwards and backwards, keeping the gaze ahead. So you might not be looking at the screen, looking at me anymore. It might be you're just looking at the wall. That's 3. And this is like the little warm up for it. That's it, and that's 5. So this is our first sort of reps on this one. I think we're coming up to the last one. So now we're going to start foot forwards and then we sink the weight back to this leg at the back. Last week we did it the other way around, we sunk to the front. That's it, and then you're coming up, back down. You might have your hand here, it might be off. It might be you're not going very low, but your bum is still pushing back. Yeah, lovely. And then you're coming up forwards like you're just about to stride off. Going down again. I think we've got about 4 more left. That's it. Your back is straight as you go back. I think we've got 2 more. Last one. So we end with that forwards movement. Now come back onto this leg, it's supporting you. We're going to get our foot off the ground on the other side. So get your foot off the ground. Think about your support. I'm just looking at what number we're on. Right now we're going to count in, let's go counting backwards in threes, starting at 50. And just keep counting backwards in threes. If you've got your hand for support, it might be you change, take a finger off. It might be your arms need to go out at some point. You're still counting in threes, but you're going backwards. That's it. Maybe you've got a few more threes you can count. And then coming downwards. So we've extended the balance time there. We were doing over 40 seconds easily. I think you could probably all go up to a minute pretty easily. Very, very nice. I hope you all feel very happy with yourselves from doing that, with the counting as well, because you really brought that in this week. Right, let me move to where we're going next. Right, where am I going with this. Oh yes, right. Well, let's stay on this side of the chair. Now we've got our legs side by side. I'm going to show you this version from the side. So we've just done a lot of balance and functional sort of work. Now we're going for a bit of chest opening and a gentle rotation, because we don't want to, if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, this sort of waist rotation, we can do it, but we don't want to overdo it. You don't want to wring yourself out. So we're going to face forwards. This arm is going to be swinging forwards and backwards. The thumb is always going upwards. So if I go this way, take it slowly, thumb goes up, and then it goes downwards like this. I'm going to switch the hand round so the thumb's going up, but I'm going to let my hip come round the back and let the thumb go up this side. So you can see how the body is going to move with it. Now, if you haven't got osteoporosis, you don't have to concentrate so much on bringing your hip back. It might look more like this. But it's actually quite nice bringing the hip back a bit, because you get more of an opening in the chest. And you can be holding onto your chair as you're doing this. We're on about number 5 and we're doing 8. But take your time. I think that's 7. And that's 8. And then you can give your shoulders a little wriggle and a reset. We're going to go around the other side of the chair, just so we do the other side. So your feet are about your hip width apart. They're facing forwards. Your thumb is facing forwards on this way. So it reaches forwards, goes down, and then you get that rotation. Your thumb's still at the top and it's reaching back. Let your hips and a bit of your leg, if needed, move that way. That's it. And your eyes are just following that. And I don't mind what your breath's doing as long as you're breathing. And you might be seeing how far you can lift your arm up each way. It can be different on one side than the other. We've got 3 more. And then on the last one. And bring it down. We're going to take it now to a chair for a seated row. You can do this with your legs long on the floor if you wanted to. I don't know if anybody does want to do that option today. I can demo it in a second. But I thought we'd take it to seated with the band underneath your feet. And I'm going to demonstrate this as a way of how you can, I mean, we're doing this for the backs of our arms, the triceps, so strengthening there, and for our shoulders. But I'm also doing it as an exercise to show you how you can change and add resistance. So if I was doing this, I could start with my softer band, my yellow band, and have that under my feet. We're going to do 2 sets. So if you've got a choice of bands today, you might start with a softer one. The band is under your feet and your feet aren't going to move. You want a bit of tension in the band, so your arms are feeling like they're almost being pulled downwards, but we're going to stay sitting upwards. I'm going to show you this one from the side, because I think you need to see the arm movement. The arms are going to stay in at the side, the elbows are not going to come outwards. We're going to take a breath in. Oh, and we need to be on the front of our chair as well, should mention that, so you've got room for your arms to pull back behind you. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, we're pulling the elbows back, the arms are bending, and then you slowly release, breathing in, pulling back, breathing out, sliding forwards, breathing in. So it's like someone's pulling your elbow back and you see the bend in it. I'm only doing one side there so I can just point to different bits, and it's pushing forwards, but my back's not changing shape. That's it. I think we've got 3 more, and you might be feeling your shoulder blades coming closer together at the back. Last one. And then let go of the band so you can have that little in-between rest. Now you might be thinking that's enough for today. You know, if you're super tired, you perhaps wouldn't do another set today. But if you're going to do a second set, you could stay where you are. If you feel stronger, this is where you could bring in a stronger band. So I'm going to bring in my red band, which is stronger than the yellow one, for the second set. You could also think about how many you're doing. So we're working on 8 today. It might be you bring in the stronger one and you only want to do 4 for the second set rather than 8. So I think we're all good to go. The band's under your feet. You've got a bit of tension in the band, so it feels like it's pulling you forwards a little bit. It's a bit of effort to sit upright. You can feel your arms are sort of pulling downwards. Breath in. And as you breathe out, elbows go back. As you breathe in, the arms release gently and slowly forwards. Breathing out, pulling back, sitting up. Breathing in, slow release. Breathing out, pulling back. Breathing in, slow release, that's it. This is the halfway one, if we're going for 8. And if you're having a really sort of day when you don't want the resistance, you do this one without the band, without any resistance, just the movement itself. 3 more if you're still going. That's it. That's slow release. We're going to the last one. And then let go of the band. That's it for the band today. So you can place your bands to one side. Now we're going to go into side sitting options. Now it might be that today you're going to watch what we do. It might be you're going to do a version of this. I'm going to try and give you different options. You can either take this down to the floor, if you're comfortable on the floor. You can take this to the sofa, or you can take this to the bed. So move to your place or watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to show this in 2 places. So it could be that you're going to take it, handy sofa behind me. So I'm going to take it to my sofa and go onto my side that way. And we're in this position. I know this doesn't work for everybody, so bear with me on this. There's that version. Let me just move this down a little. There is also this version and this version. Now it might be you're going to side sit more like this. So if you know that this is too much for here, for instance, you could take it to here. But I'm not going to be able to put as much resistance through your shoulder. It's all in, you know, it's lots of options for lots of different things going on with shoulders. So if you are on the sofa or the mat, we're going to be on our side. Elbow is under the shoulder. You can have something under here, by the way, if it helps to have extra cushions here. And just sitting like this in itself is putting some weight through the shoulder. And I will say it's not my favourite position, this one. It's one I have to practice. As you're sat here, first, pull up your ribs a little. And just bring them up. If this is not a position for you, it might be that you come to that side and you come away, you come to that side, and you just keep it very light, and that's where you are right now, and you don't need more than that. So that might be where you are. If you're staying here, check that your knees are together and your feet are stacked on top of each other. You can lengthen your legs a little if that's comfortable. And then we're going to take this arm over and down. And we're doing this 4 times today. I've put low reps in because it's a new sort of movement. That's it. And then you may want to come up for a moment. Push yourself up, take your time, that's it. So this is all new. We haven't done the side lying before. So if you know that side lying and putting that weight in is super hard, you just go into this, getting your body used to it. And it might be weeks of doing that if this is a super sensitive area for you. If doing this was hard, that might be all you do, and just hold it for maybe 30 seconds. And then gradually over time, you'd increase that until we can go to this. The next stage I'm going to show you today, you do not have to do this next one, but this is where the next stage goes. The next stage is to go from this to lifting the hips up. So the weight's going through here. You can see we're putting weight through the shoulder. So you can have your hand to your hip or your hand in the air. I like to have my hand here, and I like to actually use my trousers to sort of feel like I'm pulling up. I sort of pull on my leggings, take a breath in, and as I breathe out, lifting the hips up and down, and up and down. And that's all I'm gonna do today, because that's like enough for this one, but this is where you could take it now. You might do 4 of those, and you might find that little lift, just pulling the trousers, it just gives you the idea of where things are going. Let me just see where I'm going to take it next. Oh yeah, keeping on the same side now, we're going to take it to lying on that side. If you don't like lying on your side, I've got another option. I want you to stay sitting up. But if you're happy lying on your side, I want you to go like that. If you're not happy lying on that side, I want you to be like this. So we've all got our elbows in this sort of parallel position. I want you to open your elbow out, not your head. Your head stays where it is, so just let the elbow open. Perfect. So it's coming outwards about 90 degrees away-ish from your body. Now your head can roll to that side a little, and you can take it further and let your legs open if you're lying. And then you can bring your head back and your arm back. If you're seated, it might look like this. So you open out that 90 degrees. You can then turn your head and look that way. And then bring it back and bring your elbow back. So let's go for, I think, about 8 on this side. Open that elbow first, then let your head roll, let your knees and your hips open a little as well. And then you're rolling your head back and closing your elbow. You can do it with an exhale. On your opening and your inhale as you close. And just like we were doing that chest opener at the beginning, and this is another chest opener. I think we've got about 3 more to do. That's it. I think this is your last one if you're still going. And now from this position, we need to first push ourselves to upright before we change to anything else. So using your hands, your elbows, any bits, pushing yourself up. I'm going to take you into a prone position briefly. I'm not going to linger here, but I'm going to show you where, when you want to repeat this, what you would be doing next. So this next place would be going onto your front. And I know not everyone wants to do this today. I'm just going to roll onto my front, legs away, feet are long, so there's, your legs aren't really close together. Your face is downwards. You might have a towel or maybe even a cushion under your forehead, but you want to feel that your head and neck is in line. And your arms are in a goalpost position. If you've got lower back tightness here, the best place for your cushion is underneath your pelvis, under your groin area, because that will give you a little bit of a flatter back there. We want your bottom relaxed, so not tight and sort of pushing into the floor, but sort of lengthening away. So your view, well, there isn't really a view, it's downwards on the mat. You take a breath in, and as you breathe out, it's like you're trying to peel your chest off the floor. So your head just comes up and you're trying to peel your chest off the floor, and your gaze doesn't change. Looking downwards, and then you peel your chest back down, like you're sticking it back down to the mat. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy, this one. I think it's a lot of things to think about. You're trying for your bottom not to tense. I can feel mine is all tense there, so you have to sort of try and turn that off and lengthen your legs away. And just concentrating on peeling the chest up and down, because we're trying to get into the thoracic part of the spine, the mid-back, rather than the lower back. You can also hold it there. You might be able to push through your hands and just straighten your arms slightly, but you're still looking downwards, and then you very gently roll yourself down. That's it. I'm just having a little look at what everyone's looking like. Very nice. And make this next one your last one. And then you could push yourself back to a child position. You could roll yourself back on your side and push yourself up on your side. We really need to work the other side things that we've just done then. So you might be moving your legs over. You might be doing this from the sofa. The first thing you're going to do, it might be that you're just working on going down and coming up, and that's the place you're going to be today. It might be that you are stacking your knees and your feet, getting your elbow underneath your shoulder, and you're taking yourself into that position. Does it feel like your ribs are dropping down to the mat? Can you pull them up? Get your hand under and pull them up. I'm just going to take it down to the floor. If you're happy in this position, we can start taking the arm over. I think we did 4 of these before. That's just getting this shoulder used to the weight bearing on this side.
I've got surgical pins in that elbow. Should I be extra careful?
Yeah, I think on that side it might be you want it really, really cushioned.
Okay.
That's where I would lean. I would get both those cushions and have something. So it's something really squishy underneath, so that you're getting the resistance here. You're getting the weight bearing here, but you're not getting the pushing through here.
Okay. Well,
does that sound right?
Yes, thanks.
And then it may be when it comes to this, the hip lifting, I don't know, how does that feel if you're putting more weight through your elbow on that side?
Yeah, uncomfortable on the pins.
Is that okay?
A bit uncomfortable on the pins.
Yeah, it may be that that one is just not appropriate on that side for you and you do it more on the other side. If anyone's going for this one, remember you can do that little lift on the leggings because it just gives you the idea of which bit to lift. You can do it with the arm up. In some ways easier, in other ways harder. And maybe it takes you a long time to get to this point. I've been doing Pilates 20 years and I still feel I'm sort of stuck on this part of it. I find it really difficult to take it more than that. Well, let's bring ourselves back up to sitting. Placing your legs somewhere comfortable. Let me just turn this one over. And we're just going to shrug our shoulders. So breath in, bringing your shoulders up. Breath out, melting down. Breath in, bring your shoulders up. Breath out, melting down. One more like that. Breathing in. Breathing out, melting down. Gentle rotations. Just use your hands. So one moves to the front, one moves to the side. Just sort of unwinding yourself because we've done a few rotational things today. And then giving yourself a hug. It might be you keep it very to the front if you've got shoulder stuff going on, so you're not reaching too far around the back. It might be you go further back. You could do little wriggles here, little circles, rocking. That's it, easing out. And then we're going to open up. You can extend your arms open. You might send your chest a little bit upwards. And then we're going to close and hug the other way. Rocking. Maybe little circles with the elbows. And then opening up. Now we're done on the exercise.